And speaking of kind of a wintry, dreary type forecast, many people anyway, consider the season planting the spring. That gets you away from the potential frosts and freezes, and that's plenty true for some crops. But for some of our juiciest, most delicious fruits, the time to get them in the ground is actually now. As Acadiana sits in the middle of winter, we can find inspiration from the song Strawberry Fields Forever. And sure, an endless field of strawberries may seem a little too ambitious, but at least a couple plants is pretty easy.
Strawberries are very cold hardy, so growing them from now until spring is really effortless, and it's not much of a gamble.
Tolerant of cold weather, planting now means that the plant can focus its energy into the production of berries come the spring and not establishing roots.
It's better if you could get them in earlier in the season because you can establish some good roots before we get into our really hot season.
Synonymous with summertime, you may think that the strawberry would be susceptible to frost, but unless temperatures drop into the mid-20s or lower, the plant is going to be fine. Instead, it's a different threat that you want to be on the lookout for.
Snails. Snails tend to want to eat the berries.
And protecting these plants from snails is simple. It all comes down to watering.
When you water in the afternoon and evening, leaving wet surfaces everywhere is basically rolling out a red carpet for the snails and slugs. They have to have wet surfaces in order to travel.
You can further protect your berries by planting them in a pot instead of the ground. For a 10-inch pot, go ahead and throw up to 3 plants in there.
3 would be the max I'd put in this size pot. You could also do 1 and you'd be just fine. That plant is going to grow out, and it's also going to vine and create more plants.
2 of the more common types of the plant are the evergreen or June sweet, and the difference in the plant is based mostly on the harvest.
So what that means is that it's going to have low production throughout the year, and then we also have a June bearing, which is going to have high production, larger berries, like, around May and June is when you should expect production for that one.
So while we go through the gloomy months of winter, put those strawberries in and dream of sunny summer fruit. In Lafayette, I'm Daniel Phillips, KTC TV3. Well, because we put the strawberries down in the ground now, and they're used to the patterns that we have here, so you don't have to worry about watering them all that much. If you put them in a plant, though, I would check from time to time, just make sure that the soil hasn't dried out. Now, we do have a quick update to last week's call for some volunteers. Put some plants over in Oak Lawn Park. Happy to say over 80 people showed up. They helped put in trees, grasses, flowers. Great turnout. If anyone is interested, they're going to finish that project up this Saturday at 9 o'clock. They got to put in some more cardboard. They got to put in a little bit more mulch as well. So if you are interested in volunteers are asked to bring shovels, wheelbarrows if you can, water, and make sure to wear a mask.